Welcome to On the Chain. This is Jeff here with co-host Chip. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Chip. Can Ripple survive the SEC? I think that's a really important question that we have to cover because the SEC is outlandishly out of their mind. I know we talk about this all the time, Chip. We talk about the SEC. We talk
We
about
do.
the case against Ripple. We talk about the impact, Chip, on XRP and the XRP community. But regardless of what the SEC does, which seems to be insane every single day, there's always something going on with Ripple.
There always is. And let's dive in. Let's go. You
Let's
ready?
go.
Welcome to On the Chain.
It's funny how
Right.
well so we're going to bring everybody up to speed on what's been going on with some of the latest developments and then some things that have happened over the past couple of days as well. And if everybody could just tweet this out and also drop in where you are coming in from today, your city, your country. Let's find out where everybody's coming in from today. If you watch on the rewatch, drop it in the comments. Jeff and I read all comments. So whatever you put a comment in there, don't think it goes unnoticed. Other people may not notice, but Jeff and I
Drop
always
it like
read
it's
the
hot.
comments. Right. Drop it like it's hot. So we always do that. And it is funny because, and again, I don't know. I think let's start on a positive note. Then we'll start getting into maybe some of the SEC. Jeff, how's that
Dude,
sound?
Positive is good. SEC can wait a little bit. Ripple with a new website is pretty amazing. And there's some other
Yeah.
great positive things. So we got to dig in to a lot of those things. I like the website. I like the direction they're going, Chip.
Yeah.
So
And
you choose. You pick which way you want to
I think
start.
you just chose it. I'll write that. So Ripple tweeted this out. New site, who dis? Many months in the making, our entirely redesigned website now better reflects our ambition to create crypto solution for businesses, including cross-border payments, crypto liquidity, and more. And Jeff, you nailed it when you said that it really built. They nailed it right here. But again, I think it's far more suiting than what Ripple's up to. Where I thought the other one was like kind of a hodgepodge. It was like, because when you add pages, like, okay, now we do this and we're going to do that. This one has a continuity to it, which right
really
there,
does.
business impact powered. We value your privacy. I'm going to accept it, Jeff.
Dude,
There you go.
it's really amazing. Yeah, I don't value my privacy too much, but no.
We have
But
privacy,
no.
Jeff. What the hell?
No, so but man, think about the progress that Ripple has made, in terms of how they've promoted their messaging. It's become clearer and clearer and clearer in the beginning stages. And this is where, I believe that, one of the, tenets of the SEC case, that people that invested in XRP, knew about Ripple. But if you go back to the beginning, and the craze in the crypto space, really, started to ferment or foment, not ferment, but foment.
Foment.
But at the time, they're trying to reflect and say, well, people did it because of Ripple, because they wanted that. But you think about the messaging wasn't as clear. You really had to dig in and understand the different, aspects, of how Ripple broke it down. Now it's such a clear, succinct messaging, business impact, transform the way you move, manage, and tokenize value. That message, now it resonates. Now people can clearly understand it. Even if you work for a big financial institution or a big bank, in the mainstream, even Warren Buffett, I think can now understand the true impact that Ripple is going to have in this space.
Yeah, I think even he can, especially when you invest in big Brazilian banks that are Ripple partners. And also want a big shout out to Sooner and Swiffle. Thank you very much for that super sticker. Appreciate it. Here's what's interesting about this. What I love this this graphic right here. Because it shows you everything that's going on. You got the Bitcoin in there, you got the USD floating around there. But look at this, Jeff. XRP. And down over here in the corner, we've got nothing. We have ETH, and of course, we got Litecoin. It always finds its way.
Litecoin
always finds its way, right?
I think it's always going to be part of the ecosystem, and maybe the ecosystem and the universe is telling us something, that Litecoin is here to stay.
And just like that, boom, turns into
Oh, look
And
at that.
then,
The
you know,
collimating the
and again,
payment.
here are all the partners. You know, look, if you have all these amazing partners, look, I mean, obviously Tranglo, you've got Asimo,
Yeah,
Neum,
Bank of America.
SBI, B of A. You know, these are Flanta, man, Novati. These
Hey, is
are
that the
all,
SEC logo? What's that? No.
no, that's not Jeff. That is actually not the SEC logo, but you never know. I mean, quite honestly, it could be. That
Well,
is
it's
Republic
one of
of
their
Palau, and this
it's one
is
of their
the
partners in trial. One of
and that's the authority of I can't even
their legal
Bhutan and
partner.
Palau. That's what those are. Those are their logos there. So that's why they look government-y, because apparently if you're a government, you always got to have a circle with type running around the outside and some kind of a, you know, there's
Yeah.
modular in there, as of course SBI. And
What's
now the only thing that
oh,
I'm
you can't scroll. Is
the
that
only thing
scrolling automatically or can you
yeah,
grab it and
I
move it?
don't think you can sort of like you can click
Oh
on them.
man.
You can, you know, you can,
Yeah, but you can't
but
move it. Oh, there is. You got the Saab Bank over there.
and look at this.
Nice.
So I'm typically not a big fan of black backgrounds. The reason being is that there's a reason that almost everything type is put on a white background, especially white books. They don't print. No one
And I
said, no
think
one's yearning for, you know, I want to read this book, but I want it in dark mode. I want to read white text on a dark background. It's just it
well,
makes it very difficult to read for a lot of people.
the first book that we release, Chip, will be
Yeah.
on black pages with white text.
We might
How
have
about
to,
that?
Jeff, just
Just
to be so contradictory. Why
we're,
not?
we're gonna.
I
I don't know if
love it.
anyone's ever done it, but to your point, you can't even read that text. Can't
It's a
read
little
that.
bit tough. It's a little bit
It's
tough for
extremely
me.
difficult to read
It
it.
just, I'm not a fan of the black background, but it's not pervasive throughout the site. The rest of the site, you know, also queue up some quotes. You know, there's the president of Palau, and it's like this is highlighting. This really highlights what they do a lot better, and it is fantastic. You ready to get started? Oh hell yeah, I'm ready to get started. So if we just even go
Let's
here,
do it.
ready to get started, you know, contact the sales
Contact the
team.
sales
There's a
team.
lead.
Look at that.
And look at even the hamburger menu. They went with even though it's the same 3 lines, they've put it in that round shape, and they're keeping that theme throughout. And then of course, you know, you've got your
Makes it consistent with your different devices, regardless of the device you're on. I like
yeah,
that.
your resources, your blog, you know. Oh, maybe why was I on pages last night that were okay, well, but anyway, I think the
Maybe your
content
whole thing
was
is in dark mode at this point.
no, I don't think I'm in dark mode. I'm never in dark mode, except for the only time I use dark mode is when
Except
I'm
for right now.
actually on my when you're on YouTube on your phone. I don't want the glare. I want to focus on the videos. Right here, let's learn about XRP. There it is, fast green digital XRP asset. And look at this little bit of animation. There we go. Because I knew I saw. To me, that's just a lot easier to read. Just really quick. But anyway, I would
When I
imagine.
go full screen on my own, I can read it, you know. But to that point, you know, it just the resonation. You know, I like a cleaner, brighter background. I
Yeah,
actually
even a color
prefer when you
background.
go. I prefer if you go with a white background, just super clean, put a little border to it like that.
I don't
That
mind
section there.
sparingly used like a footer and stuff, but I think everything. But what it really does is it really drills down. It's very succinct and specific. Where I felt like before they kind of get a little bit wordy. Where this is pretty easy to comprehend. And when we're living in 2022, we're dealing with attention spans. That's why Twitter. It's like, you know, you go through your feed, you just hit them one by one. So anyway, I thought that was really good. And then moving right along here, we got Siamak Masnavi, who's really one of the probably best known writers, one of my favorites for a couple of years now, as far as highlighting the positive nature of Ripple. There's a lot of fudsters out there that Ripple is Ripple going to die as a company? Is XRP going to survive? Where he basically went through and talked about, he pulled out some really strong points that Garlinghouse made. And I'm going to just scroll right down here. Yeah, so this one right here is one of the things that we talked about, but this is so right on, Jeff. He was asked how the case was going. He said, you know, the reason that Twitter crypto community cares so much about the question, it's not just about Ripple. The whole industry is impacted by the decision. The core question boils down to a 1946 Supreme Court case that's been known as the Howey test, a test to determine if something's a security or not. The irony is that the only country on the planet that thinks XRP is a security is the US. Case has gone well. The SEC, in our judgment, has certainly moved slowly. Typically in these situations, when the SEC brings the case, they want to move quickly. But here, they've been dragging their feet. And we'll get into a little bit of that, but thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, that's 100% the case. We listened, and watched the Garlinghouse interview. We've broken that down as well, but that's 100%. I think we were talking about this the other night. Why is the SEC dragging this out so long? Because typically they do want to get it over with. They have all the goods. The company that they're going after doesn't, and they want it over and done with. And in this scenario, man, it's just dragging and dragging and dragging, and it's a little,
It really
we'll have to
is.
see where this goes. But you know what? I think at the end of the day, it's really bringing the coalition of the crypto community together.
Oh yeah,
It's
without a doubt.
really solidifying the base, and so
I wanted to
think
put
that's
this comment up here. Heinrich Ray Robbins says, hello from sunny Cape Town, South Florida. Hello from rainy South Florida.
South
Back
Florida.
to you.
What?
Yeah, it's a little rainy
I
this
think
morning.
that says South Africa.
I know. I was just goofing around there. It's
Ah,
no, Cape Town is in South Africa, everybody. But I was saying we're in
sure.
South Florida. He's in South Africa.
Got it.
We have a saying, Salecker, thank you for your informative live stream. The SEC never ceases to amaze me and how they keep stalling. XRP is the one. Right on. I don't know what Salecker means. We need more clarity around that. Not familiar with that phrase, so I don't know. Maybe you can put a little more.
South Africa, Lecker.
Salecker. If I'm saying that even right.
South Africa, the word is Lecker.
Look at this, Jeff. This is good. I look 10 years younger with my inverted hat. That's because I've got a bad hair day. Well, I just got a bad hair day going on. It's early, man. Even though I took a shower, it's like I have sometimes, Jeff, I have like mannequin hair. You ever see like a mannequin in a store? They still there. It's like they have that straw hair. Sometimes it's like my hair. It's like I had to put tons of product on it. And today it was just a wiry mess. So appreciate that.
Yep. Oh, hey,
Alchemist.
4 years.
1K investment XRP, 1K in BTC, 4K. There you go.
Nice. Hey, before we go digging deeper into this, I want to go back to the Ripple website, only because I think it's kind of important, kind of where we started the conversation, to understand how they've streamlined it. But if you go to these,
go ahead. I put it up. I put yours up.
Oh, you put mine up. All right. Good thing I had it up. No.
Well, I saw it in the green room there.
I know. So here's the messaging. Here's the use case, right? So the solutions: move, manage, and tokenize value with Ripple's crypto and blockchain solutions. This is the first time that we've seen such clarity in that messaging. And then if we think about how they used to break everything down with everything was like a different category, and it was, had different names, and it was confusing. You remember before they even came out with ODL, now they're even dropping ODL, right? On-demand liquidity is confusing. So think about it just from these use cases: crypto liquidity, source digital assets, cross-border payments, central bank digital currency. So I think now they're even streamlining the understanding of what it is. And we get into, okay, it is crypto liquidity. So, and so let's open that. Put the power of crypto in more hands. This is amazing. Seamlessly buy, sell, and hold crypto with here's the Liquidity Hub. Financial institutions and businesses will be able to easily and efficiently source digital assets from global crypto markets. Now, when you look at what the heck is on-demand liquidity, well, here it is. This is through the Liquidity Hub. The platform unlocks new revenue streams for organizations by enabling them to offer end customers the ability to buy, sell, and hold digital assets. I think that's just a component of it when we get into the Liquidity Hub, but it really starts, making more and more sense, which is what I'm liking about this, and then cross-border payments.
Well, crypto, Jeff, the whole idea of crypto liquidity, everybody gets that. There's no, and the thing is not tribal at all. It's crypto liquidity. You buy the XRPL.
Exactly.
And ODL.
Yeah, I think that's solid. And now look at this on the cross-border payments: settlement in seconds, not days. Again, clarifying the messaging, tuning it in a little bit. And these are things, Chip, I believe that if we go back and watch our videos, in the past, when we go through this, we would go and we would really highlight some of these ideas that their messaging was a little bit too confusing. And I think every time they changed or clarified, we had similar kind of points to it. This one I like. I'm really liking it. Here, expand your reach and accelerate your payments business. Again, clarifying. Now this part is clean also, right? Because they went to the white background.
Beautiful.
Why industry leaders choose our cross-border. Look at that. Why are people choosing them?
But
Yeah,
look at the
where's
dashboard.
the SEC, Chip?
Jeff, can you zoom in on that dashboard right there? Because that's something else too that we haven't really had any purview of. If you look at that right there, so I'm guessing that might be a shot from what you actually may see. Because look at that, we've never seen anything like that, at least to my knowledge, on a website, on the Ripple website. So that's pretty cool in itself.
I'm liking it. Look at this. These are 300. This total transactions, 340,000 transactions executed. Completed transactions, return transactions. So something went on. So this is great. Gross volume. That's nice. Yeah, I like this. Look, it's throwing up the recent transactions, tells you where the money was sent to. Available credit. That's
and Jeff,
interesting.
make no mistake. And people get a little worried. They're like, well, will Ripple? We asked this question in the beginning. Will Ripple survive the SEC? And Ripple's been around. Ripple's an OG. They've been doing in the space since 2012, 10 years. But more recently, the last 6, 7, 8 years is where they really started gaining, really rolling out the products that made what we see today possible. And just like every company, what I've really respected about Ripple is the ability to quickly pivot. When something's not working, they try something. You throw the spaghetti against the wall. Does it stick? No. Okay. You have to continue to try, and you got to pivot quickly. And this is what Ripple's done. They've changed the product names over the years. Remember how it was kind of difficult for even us to remember and understand. There was RippleNet, and there was Ripple this, and basically it's all been simplified.
It's amazing. Yeah, I do like it. Look at this. When they're trying to reference a CBDC, so they want that part of it, secure blockchain innovation for a sustainable economy. It's really, they're driving a complete, clarity of what their objectives are. I like it. I think it's we're on to bigger and better things, Chip, and things are looking up.
Well, look at this too. It's a lot easier to engage Ripple team, connect, converse, and collaborate. Connection and discussion with 2 important keys to unlocking innovation in the crypto industry. Here's where you can meet the Ripple team to build connections and start the conversation. Unlock the potential of your business. So again, it's simplicity, a lot easier to engage. And again, it's really, really well done. And they've been working on this for some time. And they just threw it out there in a tweet like, what who this? That's kind of how it came out there.
Out. Check out Metal Chew. Look at this comment, Chip. Morning, fam. Haven't caught a live stream in a while. Bought a house with crypto as a birthday present for myself.
You are a rock
what
star,
an
man.
amazing thing. What do you think
Crypto,
of that?
I think it's freaking amazing. Thank you for, well, what are you going to do next year to top that next birthday? Like something big. You bought a house this birthday, next year, who knows? Maybe a different house, maybe a second house. Who knows? It could also, it could be almost anything. I want to put this up there as a continuation. This is Heinrich Ray Robbins says, lekker means great, awesome, fantastic. This is how I describe your live stream. Thank you for that, Heinrich. Appreciate that.
I'm gonna use
lekker. We got to start using that more. Lekker, Jeff. And I don't even know if we're pronouncing it correctly, but I like it. Like it, lekker.
We'll use it from now on.
It's good stuff, Jeff. It is good stuff. So we'll probably start getting into. So along the way there, Jeff, I mean, again, starting off with some really positive news. Will Ripple survive the SEC? The question we've been pondering: will they survive? Well, look at this right here. This was actually a couple days ago, but again, this right here was on Triangle's website. How digital currencies like XRP are transforming global payments. And they go on to say, business leaders know the best growth opportunities aren't confined within national borders, and the businesses that tap into new markets and harness that international talent and emerging markets are the ones hitting the revenue goals faster than their competitors. Hey, what's going on, Damien? But for too long, it's been just too hard to pay business vendors and contractors around the world. It's because most involve cross-border payments, lengthy settlement periods, high transaction fees, too many intermediaries. And so this is a pervasive conversation. We hear this over and over again, but this is how you get it to the masses, because people believe in the old methodologies and the legacy systems that that's the only way. It's not the only way. And it's a beautiful little
Read that last paragraph. I think that summarizes our thought process, or
Right here, blockchain and digital
Yeah.
currencies may hold the key. Businesses crave a better payment experience, especially when sending and receiving funds from overseas. The 2020 Blockchain and Payments Report by Ripple, a leader in enterprise blockchain, claims, well, I don't know if they claim it, but it's probably true. So 99% of survey respondents would consider using digital asset to instantly process cross-border payments, or they can use the legacy system and pay a high fee. So it's like yin and yang. Which one do you want? I think you go with the one that better suits you. 40% of respondents rank speed in a top 3 strength of blockchain technology. And here's a beautiful looking chart.
We need that clip. Make sure you save that for later.
That is a very, very good thing we're going to use, Jeff, right there. That's a very, very strong. Yeah, we'll definitely,
nice
yeah.
Slide right there.
I see what you're saying there, Jeff. I'm on you. So yeah, Ripple acquired a 40% stake in Tranglo in 2021, uses XRP, the digital asset native to the XRP ledger. And what they're doing here too, Jeff, is teaching people the difference that there's XRP and there's a company called Ripple. Ripple is a centralized company. XRP is a decentralized asset. The more this gets out, the better it is for all around. And that's pretty much it. But again, it's a really, really well-crafted article.
That's good.
And getting out the word, especially Tranglo. Tranglo is an interesting company to watch. I think these guys are doing some cool things.
Yep.
And look at this, Jeff. Jeff, here's another one. Look at this one here. This is so there's just lots of great news out there. Ripple plans to expand a Korean market following on-demand liquidity's huge adoption. And we learned from Garlinghouse that they're on fire this year. Their on-demand liquidity is just crazy on fire compared to Q1 of 2021. So it's incredible.
Yeah, what we're seeing over, in different markets, unlike in the U.S. market, but we're starting to see, massive movements, and Ripple taking, big leaps forward in that. So we see, like in Japan, South Korea, obviously, and then we're seeing a lot of movement in the European markets. But this is big news. It always seems like they're always just a little bit ahead of what we're doing.
And of course, Ratha Kahneman, which we feature a lot here, is good Twitter friend of the show. Ripple will enter the Korean market in earnest this year. That's Rahul Avadi. He's the head of APEC policy at the conference that they had. The Crypto Liquidity Hub will not be launched there yet. Big things ahead. And he also stated that the ongoing Ripple SEC lawsuit has no impact, Jeff. No impact on the adoption of Ripple's remittance platform. You want to know why? Because the rest of the world has gone the sane route and has said that XRP is not only a currency, but it also has utility. And the only nut job on the planet Earth right now is the United States, which is just in total chaos and free fall. And nobody cares because guess what? The rest of the world marches to the beat of their drum. They march to the beat of what's best for their country and best for their people and could give zero Fs about what's going on with the U.S. And that's why nobody cares. And you know what? Everything will flourish outside of the U.S. That's exactly what the SEC is pushing here.
It's insane. Every time you think that things are normalizing, what goes on in the U.S. takes another step into insanity. Now they have so everything that we've done down to deal with the craze of the SEC and our porous borders on the South. And now we're also seeing this misinformation czar that has been put into place. More misinformation spread by and through the government agencies, as we know with the SEC as well, which is just getting crazy. But thankfully, we have a new bastion of free thought. And we're starting to see that transition in Twitter because it's not just from a political perspective, but think about all the people, over time in the U.S. And you haven't seen that same impact globally, but even referencing crypto, think about all the negative impact to people that have shared information on crypto. And we've seen different platforms try to deplatform anybody talking about the benefit of cryptocurrency. And all the algorithmic chaos, but then there's the human side element of that same chaos, so it's all interconnected somehow. But onto much better things. You know, a lot of great things happening. I know you're pulling up some cool stuff. We've got a couple of comments here, Chip, that will allow us to segue into some of the things we're going to talk about with the SEC. But I'm going to put this up, and then, you know, we can maybe, you know, get into it. But, you know, as we start thinking about this process, but look at El Jefe. Hey, guys, what's your thoughts on the SEC new privilege claims on Hinman emails that came out last night? You know, I like that. And you know, so we can give some thought, but here's some commentary, you know, to that coming from the chat. But Sober is saying SEC will always claim privilege over its people. El Jefe responding to Hans Loaded, but he said, yeah, that's apparent. Just don't understand. Back to Judge Netburn when it's been already upchained to Judge Torres. And Hans Loaded, you know, talking about SEC is grasping at straws now, desperate station, you know. So obviously a lot of things, and this is part of what we started referencing with the delays. And it just seems like they're constantly they're in cover-up mode.
Yeah, they are. But yeah, we're about to go full mental patient here in a moment. But John Deaton, the great John Deaton, who was on with us last Sunday night, always an amazing friend of the show, but we call him a superhero. He really is a superhero. It's rare that an individual who seeks zero praise or just does it out of the goodness of his heart, also because he's an investor himself, will represent 66,000 XRP holders. And that's just a drop in the bucket. But so John Deaton here, I was looking at his stream and I was thankful that he tweeted this out. He retweeted my tweet, which is when Jimmy Filan put this out about the asserting the attorney-client privilege. I just reactionary just said the SEC is corrupt to the core. And boy, did people weigh in on this. And I was wondering, why are there so many comments in here? Well, because, you know, the Deaton basically tweeted it out, and there was a whole breakdown of what people were saying in here. Ideala Velez said, I can't wait for the judge to respond. This is kind of delaying the submission of the document requested, delaying the time frame of events. Hope the judge requests a subpoena. But it's clear here that they're hiding something or someone. And a lot of the comments really go on that. But before that happened, before the lead up to that, we had El Diablo, Dictator Know-It-All, better known as Lionel. He's been on the show a couple of times. It says right here, look, the SEC appears not to have met the deadline. And this is like late. This is like late last night that the deadline was going to be missed. Jeremy Hogan weighed in and said, the SEC still has 4 hours to file. Somebody's furiously proofreading a pleading as we speak, because they're not going to miss the deadline, right, Jeff?
I don't know.
No, they did not miss it, because here it is. Boom, right there. This tweet came out at 9:30 last night. So right shortly before right after the somebody was, you know, proofreading the pleading. And we had here, and this is just a lot of words on a page, Jeff, to just basically say, and we'll get into it a little bit, but the SEC filed a letter of motion asserting the attorney-client privilege in connection with the Hinman speech. Now, this right here, this is some serious bullshit, Jeff, okay? I mean, just simply said, because where is the attorney-client privilege? Now, you can assert attorney-client privilege on conversations with an attorney. So what is this? What is a public official who represents, who is working for a government agency? What are they trying to hide here, Jeff? And I think as we get into,
it's problematic.
It's insane. So where does the attorney privilege come in here with the Hinman speech?
Yeah, where does it start? Where does it end? You know, what the problem here is that we have employees of the government making statement, and now we have an agency that is, you know, also an employee of the people, because again, the people don't work for the government works for the people, or so it should. Yeah, it's supposed to. And they are funded through taxpayer dollars. And so we have a major crisis now on our hands, that here we have an SEC, an agency within the government, that is spinning misinformation and is in complete cover up, and, you know, and trying to take back control of the narrative, because they've completely lost the narrative at this point. And the more they drag this on, the more it becomes evident But you know what? You give them enough rope to hang themselves with, and it's not just this agency. And obviously, this started under Clayton and Hinman, but it's now becoming extremely, extremely clear. There's a huge magnifying glass right now on all government agencies in the U.S., including all the way to the very top, and everything is now coming to light. And so obviously the SEC didn't just come into being under Gary Gensler. There was problem and corruption that's probably gone on for decades. And now we're seeing it even more. So man, this is,
Well,
and it's interesting, Chip, the yesterday we're having a conversation, and we were talking about, sometimes we look at negative things and you say, oh, that's really bad, or hey, that was really good,
right.
but then you don't know what the end result, like how is that going to impact things moving forward, right? Because so we could look at the SEC case, say that's really horrible. This is really bad for us. It's bad for Ripple, bad for everything going on. But is it really? Is it not that the timing for everything happening right now, all this negativity is coming to light because next year or 5 years from now, we're going to look back and say, man, that was the best thing that ever happened.
Yeah. You got to go. And this is what I've always said. If you've ever had a dark period in your life where there's a massive amount of struggle, the only way you can enjoy the better part of your life is to get through that. And then you always have that contrast. You can't appreciate the daylight if it wasn't for the nighttime, the darkness. So, Jeff, I think you're 100% spot on. I think we called this early December of 2020. At least I think that we were spot on as far as that was concerned. When we look at this right here, here's funny. I'll just read 2 lines in this. It says, in accordance with the court's order, the SEC respectfully renews its assertion. They're renewing the assertion, right? Didn't work the first time, but they're going to do it another time, even after they've been ordered by the court, that they're going to assert the attorney-client privilege, which protects internal documents related to the June 14th speech. In the overview of the speech documents, they say in early 2018, David Friedrichsen's corpse, Fins, then chief counsel, began the speech working closely with 2 other attorneys, Valerie Sispanic, and so an attorney helped draft the speech. So what? What does that have to do? There is no personal thing. If I'm working with my attorney and somebody's coming after me and suing me, that's attorney-client privilege. When you're a government official and you're just making sure that it's, look, every company, everything that, the company I work with, companies, everything is run by an attorney. It's just part of a business operation. There's no protection there. What's the protection? So a lot of this is just a lot of jibber jab in here, but look at this right here.
That's exactly what it is.
Hang on a second. Let me just go ahead. Let me go ahead and find this first, Jeff. That's not.
I want to say that the point where they get attorney-client privilege is when Hinman is charged, with a crime and wrongdoing, in that scenario. But like you're saying, if it's just based on his speech and preparation of that speech, I want everything needs to be admitted into evidence and discussed and dissected, because there's something going on here. They're in complete. They want to drag this on as long as possible in hopes that maybe there's, who knows.
Well, yeah, but the thing about it is, though, this thing's going to conclude, and the judge did something great. The judge actually moved it up from, so it's now, I believe it's August and November, which is fantastic. Let me see. I wanted to, here we go, right here. This is it right here. Sorry, I got to find it. It's so many stories to cover in just so much time, Jeff. But this is what I wanted to get into, because so John Deaton went ahead and added this to crypto law. So you can always go to crypto law and reference all these documents instead of, Jimmy Fireland puts them out as well, but sometimes it's hard to find it. You can always go to cryptolaw.us and you can find the docs. So that's the letter. You guys can read it at your leisure, on your own time. But Deaton, this is something really clever. This is what I love about John Deaton. He says, pay attention to this language. Now, this is in the letter that was dropped last night. The SEC seeks to redact 2 comments discussing pending determinations before the commission found in entries 29 and 35. And Deaton asked the question, what pending determinations? Must be other digital assets. Could it be the gram? Could it be XRP? Because there's no action letters after this. So any no action, they say in any no action letters after this. So this is interesting. We've heard that they may have referenced at some point in the speech XRP they're looking to redact these comments, Jeff. We can only guess at this point, but they're really
man, why do they want to redact? Well, what's the purpose at this point? Again, government agency, full transparency. It's not like we're talking about national security issues. We're not talking about secrets, that need to be, really need to be secured. We're talking about a speech that was made in letters that have been, kind of put out there in the public, and the, it needs to be admitted. And this is just, it's insane. Go back to that one interview that when Deaton was sitting down with Patrick Bet-David, and and he pulls up that sheet, and basically the whole thing is redacted. There's nothing on it.
It was just a bunch of blocked out lines. Well, look at this, Jeff. I want to file this in the category of Chip and Jeff were right. I want to file that in the category of, and James Rule XRP says this all the time, I told you so. And of course, sometimes, when you go against the waters here we go right here. So Stefan Huber, another great community XRP member, says, you won't believe what I just found. JP Morgan, Alibaba, Swift partnered in 2017 to revolutionize cross-border payments with what, Jeff? Ethereum. And which law firm represents both of them? That's right, Simpson Thacher. And who is from Simpson Thacher? Well, none other than William Hinman, they're trying to redact his speech. And that's the tweet. Oh, yes, before I forget, boom, 100% fire, all kinds of crazy emojis and everything. And this is incredible, Jeff, because everybody was calling it the Ethereum Foundation had something dirty going on, when really at the heart of it, John Deaton calls it out beautifully. He says, name the company posing the biggest threat to JP Morgan, Alibaba, and Swift related to cross-border payments. Now name the crypto being utilized and promoted for cross-border payments. Now name the company who acquired JP Morgan's Quorum and JPM Coin. Now name two law firms associated with all above. And that's what we were really saying it was about. It wasn't some insidious scam put forth necessarily by, and people were like trying to narrow it down. No, this is bigger than that. This is so much bigger, Chip. It's so much bigger than just trying to go narrow focused and trying to put the blame over here when really this right here hits it. They had something to protect here, Jeff.
Yeah, 100%. And this is what like you said, we've been saying this from the beginning. There's a lot more that's been going on behind the scenes, being orchestrated at a political level. That's so far, beyond, just the Ethereum Foundation. And people want to single out the Ethereum Foundation because maybe it's a little bit easier, to kind of comprehend it that way. And not saying that there isn't wrongdoing there, just saying that there's a much, bigger picture. Alchemist says a theory, and really it is another theory because there's multiple theories, and maybe we'll never know. Maybe we will know. It'll eventually come out. Maybe it will never come out. But the fact that you have these bigger entities, and it is tied into the politics of it, and a lot of it goes back to Swift. You have Ripple taking on Swift. Swift has been around, for many, many years, since 1974. It's a conglomerate of global banks, and a lot of banks. And who holds the purse strings, and who's one of the largest lobbyist organizations on Capitol Hill in Washington? Banks, financial institutions. They carry a lot of weight. They pull a lot of strings. Swift is very instrumental in a lot of things that happen on a political level, as we've seen recently when you talk about sanctions and boycotts and things like that. And all of it's intertwined. A lot of money is at stake here. And so obviously, there's other cards that are being pulled in order to slow down the development, at least in the US space, with this one entity. And, just to focus on, just Ethereum as the culprit, obviously there's so much more to that. And if they were focusing on cross-border payments with Ethereum, I even think that that's just a drop in the bucket. I'm always going to reference it back to the politics of it, and Jeff, it's all about money. It's about,
you remember that famous speech a couple years ago where it was actually at a conference where you had Tim Draper speaking with Gary Gensler. This is before Gensler, I think he was still at MIT, but Tim Draper really kind of called it out beautifully. But what really a lot of that was about was protecting legacy. You got J.P. Morgan. Now, if you look up the history of J.P. Morgan, you go back to 1913, and you'll understand that 1913 for the U.S. was devastating. The reason it was devastating because two major things happened in 1913. The Federal Reserve was established, which the founders of the U.S. Never wanted, and it was central banks were abolished twice. I also believe that this one, I'll say it here first, this central bank, the Federal Reserve, will be abolished as well. We will go back to a sovereign currency. I don't know what that looks like, but we don't need a third-party debt-ridden system that's failed universally all over the world. But J.P. Morgan, and that's the year that the IRS was also established. That all of a sudden everything worked up to them, and now now they're going to take your money. The government's in your pocket. They're going to take your money because they wanted more money. They got J.P. Morgan, and then you've got SWIFT. SWIFT is what? SWIFT gives the ability of the U.S. to create sanctions to stop people. It's a power grab, and guess what? That's going away. And what a company begins with an R has famously done by using their currency, the ruble. You see how the ruble, for the first time ever, is destroying, not only is rising, destroying USD, and it's destroying also the euro. But these are legacy systems, Jeff, that wanted to be protected. Why? Because there's a lot of power behind them. There's government behind them. You've got, and if you look at who the people that end up in government, they come from the likes of Goldman Sachs, J.P. Morgan, you name the big banks, that's where they come from, and they end up in government. They already have their money. Gensler has 120 million net worth. What's available for them? The power, Jeff, and that's really where it kind of comes down to, and it's just incredible to me. And yeah, we're just uncovering stuff. Yeah, it's just a theory. Do we know 100% for sure? But we do know, and this is a given fact, that legacy systems are always protected by the legacy holders, and that usually looks like government. And this is a worldwide venture. And look at how we've seen what's transpired over the last 2 years. I mean, we don't have to get into details, but it's pretty obvious that there was a lot of collaboration in what happened. That's the wrong kind of collaboration. The collaboration we need are opening up for we the people, so we the people can flourish.
That's it.
My rant for today, Jeff.
That's 100%. The past 2 years, we've seen what, again, it goes back to the magnifying glass is highlighting, all the chaos in the system, all that's being revealed, all that will be adjusted. The pendulum, as we have referenced in the past, that has been artificially pulled in one direction to the left is now swinging back. And
mightily.
as it swings back, it's going to take out a lot of the issues, so to speak.
Here's a couple of quick hits, Jeff. Look at this one. So you got XRP is the key 589 on Twitter. Says, come on, just tip your toes in. Gary won't bite. And you got securities laws, and you got the Gensler right there. It's like this is just fantastic. So security laws as in Jaws, that's really fun. This one here too from Gabor Gerbach says, Netflix is down 72% in 6 months. But Bitcoin is too volatile for a spot Bitcoin ETF.
Yeah.
Laugh my effing ass off, right? So this is just incredible, Jeff. Also, precious metal markets are literally manipulated, concluded in multi-regulatory court cases. Bureaucrats simply abuse and overstep their authority, not approving the Bitcoin ETF. They're a really great thread. We don't have time to read the whole thing. Moon Lambo pointed this out. The Coin Market Cap tweeted that XRP is an imposter. They put this out. Where's the imposter? And you don't see XRP hanging out here. But they basically said XRP was the imposter in the bunch because it's being controlled and governed by authorities. Now, this is Binance. I mean, does anybody trust anything? I don't know who ever uses CoinMarketCap anymore. It was acquired in 2020 by Binance, but it was complete garbage prior to that.
And it's crazy. It's just the stuff that has happened and transpired. Hey, but you know what? It looks like XRP is moving back into a buy zone at 62 cents. I think it was under 60 cents the other day. It was down to like 59 cents yesterday. I'm wondering, where it goes from here.
Well, Jeff, I get a tweet from a buddy of mine. He's like, XRP doesn't look like it was too good of an investment, does it? I said, well, you're free to sell at a loss if you want. I mean, but again, people sometimes don't recognize when something's on sale.
That's it. The whole market, you got a little change in the market, and it's good. We're in for an interesting ride, regardless of how we look at this. And the crypto space is pushing back. Ripple cleaning up their website, cleaning up their messaging, becoming a lot more, streamlined for the mainstream understanding. And we're going to see big things from this point forward. Elon Musk taking over Twitter. Obviously, there's a few things that need to be orchestrated on his end and from a financial perspective to complete that transaction. But
Yeah,
that's
Jeff.
also very, very interesting. Things are moving back into alignment. The universe is becoming normalized again.
Yeah, and what's really interesting is to watch the stock price of what happens with Twitter. And the reason I say that is because Twitter came out and announced that since 2019 they had some kind of a glitch, and they accidentally overstated earnings, and they overstated the amount of users on the platform. And then once the code got locked down, there was one side that noticed a surge in how many people were following, and another side lost a lot of people. So, and the reason they're saying, well, they don't know, were they bots follow artificially? One of the things that Musk pointed out was, okay, if you have 120 million people that follow you, and so suppose they're active on Twitter, how do you get only 30 retweets? And somebody on Twitter, I remember who it was, said I could basically tweet a picture of with a cat and get more retweets. I mean, and with a hell of a lot less followers. So are those bot followers? Are there really that many people following them? And so when you understate earnings, and when you understate the amount of users and growth since 2019, I'm not a mathematician, Jeff, but that's 3 years. That's a long time. So at some point, if this does indeed happen, it could be a basement sale here. It could be really something else.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Just a final note as we move on is XDC. So XDC coming to Uphold. Maybe big things on the horizon for XDC, Zinfin, right?
That's right.
It's gonna be good to watch that one.
And again, Jeff, what are your thoughts about that? Because it's all-time high. I think it was at one time 16 cents. And what's it at right now? Maybe 6?
I think it was 5 or 6 cents. Maybe there's some 3x in its future. When the market starts moving, there'll be we'll have to keep an eye on it. I see some people referencing XDC right now. We definitely that was always a pretty decent project. The fact that it's moving over to Uphold is getting more traction, and we'll have to keep an eye on that one. There could be some good things happening there. We'll have to talk about it a little bit more in depth.
We certainly do. And guys, we really enjoyed this with you, spending time with you, the best people out there as far as the knowledge and the attitude. It's really an attitude. OTC family, we love you. Jeff and I do. And we'll be back tomorrow night, also Wednesday. And of course, there are videos throughout the week as well that will be uploaded. And we also appreciate that. We cut clips, shorter watches. Not everybody gets to watch every episode, but we basically, and Hands Loaded is doing a great job of cutting those up and really being the OTC producer on the show. So we really do appreciate all of your efforts, because you do an amazing job, and that needs to be called out. So thank you for all your efforts.
Awesome. Yeah, appreciate everybody here, and we will check you guys out tomorrow night.
See you guys on the next one. Chip and Jeff out.
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.